There again, it's just about 8:30 this morning. I'm Errol Barnett in New York City. We continue to follow developments stemming from that earthquake in Japan. The USGS says the quake came in as a 6.8 magnitude and that at this hour there is no tsunami threat. Still, Japan's meteorological agency is warning people not to go into the sea or any coastal areas. This happened in southwestern Japan near the city of Miyazaki. It's on the island of Kyushu. Now we're working to get more information and we'll bring you all of that as soon as it's available.
.9 magnitude. Now we know
the earth trembles beneath our feet. In the blink of an eye, the ground splits open, cities crumble, and entire communities are swept away. In the chaos, survivors scream for help, and the world watches in disbelief. This is the reality of the deadliest earthquake Japan has ever faced. But what led to this catastrophic disaster? And how did Japan rebuild from the rubble? Let's journey into one of the most tragic moments in human history and discover how nature's fury reshaped a nation forever. On a quiet morning, far from the bustling cities of Japan, no one could predict the immense destruction that was about to unfold. The powerful tremor that... It was a quiet September morning when the earth began to shake. The city of Tokyo was in chaos. Buildings collapsed, fires broke out, and within moments, Japan's capital became an inferno of destruction. The human toll was staggering, with an estimated 142,800 people killed, while millions more were injured and displaced. But how did Japan respond to such an overwhelming disaster? And what can we learn from this moment in history? As we examine the sequence of events, we will learn about the immense force of nature that caused this tragedy. But more importantly, we will understand the courage and resilience of a nation that, despite the devastation, in the early morning hours of September 1st, 1923, a massive earthquake struck the Kanto region of Japan, centered near the city of Yokohama. The earthquake, the people of Japan were unprepared for the full scope of destruction that was about to unfold. While the earthquake itself was horrific, it was the fires that followed, fueled by ruptured gas lines, and the overwhelming number of people trying to escape the devastation that became the true killers. Whole neighborhoods were set ablaze, and within hours, entire areas of Tokyo were reduced to smoldering ruins. The death toll from the fires was almost as high as the earthquake itself. The aftermath of the disaster saw millions of people left homeless, injured, or grieving lost loved ones. The nation was in a state of shock. But even in the midst of this unimaginable suffering, Japan's people began to show their indomitable spirit. Survivors, many of them injured, worked together to rescue the trapped, care for the wounded, and rebuild their shattered communities. As we reflect on the devastation caused by the Great Kanto earthquake, what do you think would have been the hardest part of rebuilding in the aftermath? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. In the days following the Great Kanto earthquake, Japan faced a monumental challenge. The Japanese government had to coordinate relief efforts amidst the chaos, while also contending with the international community's response to the disaster. Aid poured in from around the world as nations recognized the scale of the tragedy and sent help. But the Japanese government's response was not without challenges. There were issues with logistics, coordination, and maintaining order in the face of widespread panic. The government's decision to prioritize the rebuilding of infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and public services, would prove to be key to Japan's recovery in the long term. The international aid and support that Japan received was crucial, but it also highlighted the importance of international cooperation in times of disaster. It was a reminder that, in moments of crisis, the world must come together to help those in need, regardless of borders or national interests. What do you think would have happened if Japan had not received international aid after the earthquake? Share your thoughts in the comments below. After the main earthquake, Japan was struck by a series of aftershocks, some of which were nearly as powerful as the original quake. These aftershocks continued to shake the region for weeks, further hindering rescue and relief efforts. In addition, a devastating tsunami struck Japan's coastline, compounding the destruction. The combined effects of the earthquake, fires, aftershocks, and tsunami made this one of the deadliest natural disasters in history. It is important to note that the Great Kanto earthquake was not just a localized event. It had global repercussions. The destruction it caused sparked a wider conversation about earthquake preparedness and disaster response, especially in densely populated areas. The lessons learned from this catastrophe would later inform global disaster management strategies. How do you think Japan's response to the tsunami affected its recovery process after the earthquake? Join the conversation below. The Great Kanto earthquake left a profound impact on Japanese society. It caused widespread trauma and loss, but it also inspired incredible acts of resilience. The survivors worked tirelessly to rebuild their homes, their cities, and their lives. The earthquake also reshaped Japan's political landscape, as the government faced pressure to improve its disaster response and infrastructure. The cultural and social changes that followed were profound. The earthquake pushed Japan into a new phase of modernization, as the country focused on rebuilding not only physically, but also socially and economically. The disaster became a defining moment in Japan's history, influencing the national identity and shaping the course of the country's development in the years to come. What do you think was the most significant change in Japanese society after the Great Kanto earthquake? Share your perspective in the comments. Despite the devastation, Japan's ability to recover and rebuild from the Great Kanto earthquake remains a testament to the resilience and strength of its people. Over the years, the city of Tokyo was rebuilt, and new technologies were developed to better prepare for future natural disasters. Japan invested heavily in seismic research and infrastructure, ensuring that future generations would be better prepared to handle the forces of nature. Japan's experience with the Great Kanto earthquake also inspired disaster preparedness efforts around the world. Countries learned from Japan's recovery and began to implement similar measures to protect their citizens from the dangers of earthquakes and other natural disasters. Today, Japan stands as a symbol of resilience and innovation, a country that has learned from its past and used that knowledge to build a safer future. What lessons can the world learn from Japan's response to the Great Kanto earthquake? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking documentaries. Your support helps us continue to bring these important stories to light. And if you have any thoughts or questions about the Great Kanto earthquake or any other historic events, drop them in the comments. We love hearing from you. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in our next video.